a baby with trouble breathing. It's why this mom in Columbus, Ohio took her 2-month-old to the hospital.
He just declined super rapidly.
Doctors across the country are warning of a triple threat, the big three of viruses, one doctor calls them.
Certainly we know all about COVID, we certainly know about influenza, but RSV, again, is known by every pediatrician because it fills up our hospitals every year.
RSV, or respiratory syncytial virus, a common respiratory illness that is occasionally severe in babies and young children. Experts say RSV and the flu are both hitting earlier this year than they normally do.
If you look in the southern United States, we're already starting to see flu cases take a really big high jump, and so we're really a little bit concerned about this overlapping of all these different viruses, because usually RSV comes a little bit later and then flu comes very nicely after. They take their turn.
The number of RSV cases in the U.S. detected by PCR tests in the second week of October was higher than any other week in the past 2 years, according to the CDC. And across the country, about 3/4 of pediatric hospital beds are currently in use, a larger share than at any time over the past 2 years. 3 states have more than 90% of those beds in use right now: Maine, Rhode Island, and Delaware. At this high school in Stafford County, Virginia, nearly half the student body was out at one point last week with flu-like symptoms. And after falling for months, COVID cases have recently flattened out in the U.S.
I'll be honest, I think we're in for a tough several months. We're seeing high numbers of children who are getting sick, who are actually needing support to breathe, and we've seen earlier than expected seasons.
RSV and the flu have similar symptoms, experts say: runny nose, decrease in appetite, coughing, sneezing, wheezing, fever, so it's not always easy to tell which illness your child has. And it can be challenging to know if you should bring them to a hospital.
Maybe they have a sniffle, a cough, congestion, but they're doing okay in the home. Or is your child really struggling or working to breathe such that they need to come see us in the hospital and in the emergency department?
What about infants and newborns who can't tell their parents how they feel? What should those parents look for?
Babies should not be refusing their bottle, and that's often one of the first signs we see that RSV is getting out of control in these infants. Is they start to refuse their bottle. You start to have trouble waking them up.
The doctors we spoke to have this advice for the parents of young children on preventive measures against the flu, RSV, and COVID. Wash your hands often. Everyone should cover their mouths when they cough or sneeze. Wear masks if you have symptoms. And even though there is no vaccine for RSV, there are vaccines for the flu and COVID. You can get those for children as young as 6 months old, and now is an important time to get them. Brian Todd, CNN, Washington.